What up, YouTube? This is JRJuggernaut1 bringing to you another daily discussion. Now, before I start this video, I just want to let you guys know quickly, the Infernity Archfiends that I have, I am putting them up on eBay. They'll be up by the end of the night. You can check. I know a lot of you aren't going to really like the value I'm putting them up for, but I don't care. That's just what I'm going to be selling them for. I don't want to be starting a whole problem, but yeah, just there's not gonna. I'll leave a link once it's posted up, but yeah, they're going on eBay basically because I just want to get rid of them, and no one's been giving me an offer. No one's been offering anything that I like. So, yeah, there you go. But without further ado, here we go. This video is going to be on side decking, or I should say, this will be part 1 of side decking. There's a lot to talk about side decking. It's one of the most important parts of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because side decking can make or break a match. Side decking correctly can lead to a win, whereas side decking poorly can lead to a loss, obviously. So the first thing I want to talk about is a little bit of my perspective and my current side deck. First, I just want to say that with side decking, I always like to use cards that I think will be great against a number of different decks. The only problem with this is that I'm still not totally familiar with what I should be siding out for my deck. I always know what I should side in, never what I should side out. So while I'm getting more used to that, side decking is still something I obviously have to work on. But I still do believe that what is in my side deck is good or somewhat correct. But I also think it can be better. So yeah, let's talk about that. First, I'm going to go through the cards that I picked because I wanted to use them against multiple decks, or yeah, just multiple decks, and because the cards are just good. First is Tuner Scheme. Tuner Scheme basically works against any deck that synchro summons. The only problem is the one deck I've found this doesn't work as well on is X-Sabers. Why? Because they'll Cold Wave or Heavy Storm. They'll get rid of the cards with Hyunlei. It's hard to get this card to work. It really is. With all their spell trap destruction. I mean, you can always have Starlight Road, but again, they'll go Cold Wave and you're screwed. But it's a good card, and I still recommend you side deck it. 2 Consecrated Light. This card is ridiculous. I mean, people will tell you they lost because of this little guy, but it's that good. Mainly because if you're facing a deck that's all dark monsters, your opponent's not going to be able to summon. If you get this out turn 1, they're not going to be able to run it over. They're going to have to find a way to get rid of it. Now, lucky for Infinities and Blackwings, they each do have a way of getting over it. Normally, Blackwings have Icarus, whereas Infinities will use something like Raigeki Break or Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. So they'll have ways of getting around it, but the point is they'll have to use their resources, and I know they don't like that. And if you're like, they're just going to have to be like reckless, and they'll just have to get rid of it as soon as possible. So drive them crazy. It's awesome. Next, 2 Crevice from the Different Dimension. I'm surprised at how great this card is and how many decks it can actually work against. All you need to do is use this card against a deck that runs a lot of monsters of 1 attribute, or even a deck that uses 2 attributes. For example, this will work great against a Dark Simorgh deck. You can remove the Dark Simorghs from your graveyard, if they're like milled or discarded or destroyed, or you can even remove I don't know, monsters that could be revived. I don't know, I'm just giving you an example. You could also use this against frogs. Remove their Treeborns from the grave, or any of those frogs, or Ronin Totem as well. Stop the OTK. It's just a great card, and one of the reasons I sided is just because you can use it against all these different decks. I really like that. And finally, Trap Hole. Trap Hole. This card works best against Blackwings, but you'd be surprised at how many decks it actually works against. It will work also against Gadgets. It'll work also against, I guess X-Sabers, but I'm not sure. I'm sure though you could think of a number of decks it works against. Next, these are my more personal preferences. Lightning Vortex, because this works against decks that swarm. Even if they're running Starlight Road, I'll usually play this card correctly and it'll work to my advantage. Preferably works against gadgets and Lightsworn. One My Body, I'm thinking of possibly maining this somehow, but the fact is, it's a great card, and it also helps me against decks that run Oppression, because if they try to use Oppression on my Junk Synchron or to Redragon's effects, I'll be like My Body, it stops it. That's actually the ruling, because the monster's still on the field, so this works. 2 Dust Tornado, this, I'm going to just say right now, this is purely, this is purely picked for my deck in particular. I'm not saying you guys should run this. This really depends on the kind of deck you're running. However, if you are running a deck like Quick Draw Plants, I'd probably say at least side these. But yeah, there you go. This is just against decks that run continuous spell traps or just a lot of traps in general. It just stops them. Next, 2 Gotham Z-Calls. Gotham Z-Call is just broken. It only works against X-Sabers, but that's just fine, because when you have a card that can just stop your opponents with combos like that, it's just great. I mean, I can't believe they actually made this card, to be honest, because it's just ridiculous. I mean, look at it. I mean, you get to take 2 X-Sabers monsters from your opponent's graveyard. It's broken for them to use, but it's equally broken for you. You can just use it in response to their Gotham Z-Call. I love it. Now, finally, this is the 15th card. I did not use this at Regionals, but I did use it right afterwards. And I haven't gotten to use it that much because I seem to forget about it. Like, that's my problem. My main problem with side decking is I need to remember more. Like, I need to side in more cards. Because when I go up against an opponent, there's a number of cards I could be side decking, besides the ones... I do side in cards, I just could be siding in more, but I'm reluctant to put in more cards because it's hard for me to figure out what I should be siding out from my deck. It's annoying. But this card definitely deserves a spot. I only have 1 of it, but I think 1's enough, honestly. It is Fairy Wind, and I know what you're thinking. Why? Why this card? Well, Fairy Wind's great because it deals with 3 cards that really hurt my deck, and I mean really. These cards are Royal Oppression, of course, Skill Drain, which hurts it, not that much, but it really does hurt it, honestly, let's be honest, and Macrocosmos / Dimensional Fissure. This card just stops it. It will also destroy, like, Black Whirlwind, Solidarity, just anything that's really giving me a problem. I mean... This will also destroy my Limit Reverses and Call the Haunted, but that's not a bad thing at all, because a lot of times, most of the time when those cards are still out on my field, it's because the monster I revived with them was used for Synchro Summoning, so they remain. But it's fine. This card is just fine. Okay, so that's the side deck. Now, of course, do I think this is the best side deck ever? Of course not. I mean, I couldn't get any DD Crows, so I didn't run it, but I like DD Crow, but again, it was like, this was a hard side deck to figure out, and I don't know, like, this is just what I came up with, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Just remember, this is just my advice. Think of cards that you will find not only very useful against one deck, very useful against multiple decks. That's all I can tell you. So yeah, stay tuned. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about the structure deck, the new 2010 structure deck, and why it is worth buying. Maybe if my locals has it tomorrow, I'm gonna buy it. If not, that's unfortunate, but whatever. I'll just get it later in the week. But yeah, stay tuned for that tomorrow, guys. And this is JRJuggernaut1 signing off.